So, I play this video game called Project Sekai. If you don't know what it is, just imagine piano tiles, but it was made by the people that made Dark Souls. Anyways, this is the main gameplay mechanic. And outside of that, there's also these weekly events which features a competition with a leaderboard. To compete, the competitor, otherwise known as the tierer, has to form a group of 5 and play as many games as possible during this event period. Like 24 plus hours running on a coffee and energy drink blend amount of playing. This issue is that these 4 other people cannot be tierers, and therefore they're just regular people living their normal lives, and it'd be impossible to find 4 people willing to play all the time alongside this tierer. So to combat this, the tier would have to be hosted by a Discord server, which consists of a bunch of players willing to help. On top of that, the server is run by managers who would be willing to help the tierer. With one of the biggest things is that they will always make sure that there are 4 players to play with the tierer at all times. This is where my project comes in. Hi, my name is Aiden Valdez, and this is my project Sekai Manager. To explain how things currently work, these servers have these players. These servers make it so that these players send in their information to Discord, and then from there, the manager takes that information and puts it into the Google Sheets. From there, it formats all the stuff, puts it in the way it needs to be, and then sends all of that all the way back to Discord. This is a nuisance for the manager having to do all this work, because these managers, just like the players, are normal people that have normal lives, and it would be really nice to cut down the amount of work that they have to do. So the goal of my project is that the players would put all the information to Sekai Manager, and all the managers have to do is format the stuff from there and put it into Discord, lowering the amount of work that they have to actually do. So before we create this website, we have 2 things that we need to set up. First is the website starter kit. We use Express.js and Node.js to create the ultimate backend. These 2 things handle things from link handling to information transferring. Then we have EJS and CSS. This is your boring, normal front end. If you don't know what these are, EJS basically is just HTML. And if you don't know what HTML is, it's basically what you see, like the front page. Like this is what loads all the code into a visual aspect. And then since the reason I use EJS is because it has JavaScript alongside HTML. Then we have CSS. This is basic. You can think of this as an aesthetic guideline for the website. It is basically the computer science version of a homeowners association. Then here, the second thing is that we have to evaluate the player input, right? The first thing is that we have these teams, and just to simplify what this means, we're going to look at this specific example. And you can think of these numbers as like a strength modifier. This first one here is being like the primary strength modifier, which is basically how strong the bigger number, the stronger you are, and you would compare this first number alongside 2 other people's primary strength. And here is our secondary strength. This is what you compare if your primary strength is the same as someone else. Then we have here, which is basically the signups. To explain that, just imagine you're working part-time, and then you're working a part-time job, and then you're telling your manager when you are available to work. Looking at this example, we have these numbers 64 to 66, which is saying that I'm available to work from 64, 65, and 66. Now, the reasons like this is because everything here is done online and people live in different time zones. And to avoid time confusion with actual time numbers, we instead replace that with something similar to math, where these numbers basically represent the amount of hours after the event has started. But instead of starting at 0, you will be starting at 1. So now that we have that sorted out of the way, we can actually start making the project. So here's the homepage. This shows the logo and the login button that uses Discord. The reason for the Discord login is that since communication is done through Discord, it makes sense to have a verification link to your Discord account. So we use discord.js to handle the Discord authorization. Then we have Express Session, Passport Discord, Axios.env. It's a lot. Don't worry about it. Basically, these do 2 things. One is making sure that you have a consistent login session, making sure that it's you throughout the usage of this website. 2 is temporarily locally storing your Discord information, making sure that your Discord data isn't going anywhere. So for the previously mentioned team strength input, we have this profile page. It displays your Discord profile and your username to make sure that you're using the right account. Then we have this ISV, which is what we previously talked about, the primary strength and then the secondary strength. Then on top of that, we have BP, which to simplify things, this is just your tertiary strength or your third strength that you would be comparing if the secondary strength is already the same. This isn't always required, as most times the second strength is already different. But if it isn't, you would but some people like having a third strength to compare with, so it's there for flexibility. Then we have time zone. This is to eradicate the complexity of having to double check the static time with your actual time. And so having this time zone stored makes it so that you can actually look at things to your actual time zone. This is basically the last of the things that we've implemented over here. We have moment time zone, which basically just handles all the time math and then all like the time changing to make sure that things are in the time zone of your choosing. Then we have SQLite 3. This is what we use to make the database, and then this database that we've made is where we store all the information, such as the ones here. And then for the signups, we have a signup page. Basically, since we've implemented the time zone, it will actually use real time instead of the demonstrated static time. And yeah, it uses the real time, so you don't have to deal with the whole static time thing. So from here, I'm going to show you a demo of my project. So this is the main page I've talked about, my logo, with login with Discord. And upon clicking on this, you will be greeted with Discord asking for two things, one is the category of username, avatar, and banner, and then the second is the service that you're in. This is all that Discord should be asking from you. And then once you authorize, you'll be authorizing this information to be stored locally. Here we can see the profile picture, the username, BP, ISV, time zone, right? We can change this. Usually it's in 100,000, so we have this random number. And then we can put in random numbers for here too. This has a cap of like 160 to 800, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but just to be safe, we'll put something less than that. And then from here, since we are in American New York, I will be keeping the time zone as American New York. So from here, we can press here to go to the event page. Currently, we have nothing, and that's fine. We can go and create a new one. We can put a name, presentation preview, a start date, the day after the presentation, end date, a week after the presentation, a tier ID, which we'll take from here. This will be my actual Discord ID, and then a server ID, which is a private server I've made for the sake of the presentation. We're going to submit. And so we're going to see here that this is actually after the current day that I'm presenting. So it will be showing in upcoming. And as you can see, since I'm the tier ID, it will show that my role is the tier. So here we have the sign up page. This is where you can actually sign up for the hours. You can click on these, it turns green and it submits and it saves it. And then if you want to cancel, you can click on it again, and then it will cancel it. And then just for the demonstration, we're going to click on a bit more. And then from here, we're going to show you the manager page where everything can be organized. As you can see, no one signed up for this, so no one's here. Then we have this P1, which is basically saying if it's off, the person is actually going to be playing. If it's on, the person is not going to be playing. But we don't have to worry about that, so we're just not going to mess with it, and then we're just going to put my name in a few places. I guess every place I put my name. It doesn't make sense of the same person playing twice because that's not possible, so. And the submit button is also per hour, so I should have done that beforehand. Whoops. That's okay. Then we have the schedule. You can see that there's the tier that's playing for all hours because I didn't press anything for the first button. And then for the second button, I put myself in 1, 2, and 3. as shown here, right? Or 2, 3, 4. And then we can see in the schedule, there's my name for 2, 3, 4 on player 2. So my project has done what I wish to accomplish. But honestly, there's so much more. But despite that has done what that I want to accomplish, there are things that I would still like to do if I work on this project. The biggest thing is that I want to get a rid of some of the manager work from the sheet to Discord. Because the thing is that there's actually more stuff that the manager has to do, but since it wasn't part of my project, I didn't really show you all of that. And the true purpose of this project is to make managers' lives easier. And so if I were to continue, what would truly make managers' lives easier is by automating some of the process from the website from the website to Discord. Then there's the next thing where if you've seen it on the manager page, but it's like we have P1, P2, P3, P4. It's somewhat aligned, but not really. And then manager here, it's not aligned at all, and submit is far, far away. I would really like to fix that. And also, well, this doesn't work. I need to go make this work. I want it so that it turns everything gray for here. Like if you click on this button, it turns gray. It doesn't work. I need to go make that work. And then here, as you can see, it inputs a player. It inputs your player Discord ID. And that's not really the best when you're trying to like figure out other people. So figure out who it is. And so I want to replace that with the profile picture, the server specific profile picture and nickname that this person has, right? And then not just that, but also once you click on it and access the dropdown, I want to say that it also displays the BP and ISV so that you're actually able to compare that. And then here, as you saw in the event page, there's this image, and this image came out of nowhere because it's just a static image that I have for visualization. And it's there because you're not going to be really looking at this text to figure out what event it is. You're going to be looking at the image that's placed. And right now, in the event creator page, there isn't a way to set this picture. So I would make it so that the event creator has a way to display this image. That's it for my presentation. Any questions? I'm pretty sure this is a video though, so no questions.